Can I share a story with you on how AI changed my life?
Yeah.
I'll never forget the first time that I used ChatGPT. And it's been actually a couple of years now. And the first time I tested it, I was like, wow, this is kind of like a interactive search engine. And I started to ask it questions, and the questions were just okay. They weren't amazing. But what I started to realize was that this thing had a mind of its own. This thing was able to understand things and interact with me in a way that I've never seen technology use.
Different than just asking Google, hey, I have a question for you.
You know, the way that they portray artificial intelligence in movies and film, you can tell how intelligent it is. It takes on a certain personality. It's like that classic scene where you go to the airport or you go to the library and you say, hey, you know, where's the bathroom? And it doesn't just say, we have bathrooms on floor 2, 3, and 4 on the north side. It doesn't just say that. It says, oh, I noticed that you have a flight on Alaska Airlines and that you're going to be at gate 23. And there's a men's restroom actually about 10 feet right from your gate. You can just use that one, where it's so intelligent that it gives you such specific information to help you solve a problem, in this case, going to the bathroom. I realized in that moment that that future is now. That future of pure interactivity is now. And it's been a while now, and it's just getting better.
So how did it change things for you, though? Because I know you've talked about before how it changed your life. I think it'd be good for everyone to know and, kind of understand.
I think the change for me happened in 3 phases, okay? Phase number 1 was this idea of creating information, right? This means copywriting, this means image generation, this means any type of unique creative expression, something for business. It could be a script, it could be a blog post, it could be an email subject line, it could be an entire email. That first phase was creation. The second phase, though, I think was decision making. So now it's like, as a CEO of a software company, one of the things that I have to think about the most is who is our ideal ICP target audience? Who are our hottest prospects? And what are the channels that we can go find those prospects to eventually convert them into clients? So what I started to realize was that AI was becoming not just a content creation tool, but it was also a decision-making tool. And this was allowing me to make better decisions on who I should talk to, when I should talk to them, what format should I speak to them in, what channels should I use to connect with them, and ultimately how to accomplish the goal of a business, which is to get more prospects and to convert more of those into clients. So I think that second phase was decision-making. And now I'm in this third phase of leveraging AI, which is interactivity. This is where it takes everything to the entire next level, right? Like recently there was Tesla Optimus robots, and they were a lot of fun. I don't know if you had a chance to watch those clips, but it was so fun watching them because they're bartenders and they're party entertainers and they're doing card tricks. They're playing charades and making drinks and stuff. And, at first it really blew people away. It was probably one of the coolest things that people have seen in terms of robots because they were so personable. They were so human and they were so intelligent. Now, the fact of the matter is that there was some humans behind the scenes that were operating those.
AI has to learn from information, obviously. And it comes from the teachers, which we are humans, correct? Providing the data,
right,
the information, all that good stuff. But from a pure functional standpoint, right? If we took the shark from Jaws, Bruce, everyone knows, the mechanical shark from 1975. If we took the dinosaur from 1993 Jurassic Park, any kind of mechanical something that moves and looks lifelike, right? What's the difference between that and the AI robot? Obviously, there's a big difference, but it's within the human prompting of it? What makes it different?
Well, the famous line with Bruce the shark was, the shark's broken, right?
Shark is not working.
The shark is not working.
Right.
Here's my kind of takeaway on that, is that there's these 3 phases of this technology. Number 1 is the mechanics of it. Mm-hmm. And that, 1975, right?
Right.
Number 2 is the intelligence of it, the information that it knows. Number 3 is the ability for it to take its mechanics, apply its intelligence, and then interact both verbally and physically, which is saying, what kind of martini would you like? Right. Making the martini, giving it to you, asking how your day was, and then accepting a compliment, and then saying, see you next time, no problem.
Whereas Bruce the shark can just be controlled by a puppeteer, chomp, chomp, chomp. That's all it can do. It can't really learn anything.
Yeah.
It can't really make a decision based on if Quint from the movie was like, Bruce, don't eat me. Okay. And then stop. That's not going to happen. Right. So
right.
There we go.
So it's like when you take these 3 things of mechanics, information, and then interactivity, you realize that's the holistic. So, my theory is that Jaws of the future is going to be an interactive choose your own adventure type format where you can actually make decisions and then based on that, Bruce will physically, in the film, on the screen, do something different based on what you chose. That's a true interactive experience.
Jaws AI. I think from the AI that we're talking about with decision making, even the smartest people in the world, right, are still confused probably on why AI maybe made the decision that it made. But for you, when you went through this, life-changing moment of seeing AI for what it could do with Dove and with business and strategy and everything you just talked about, do you ever feel confused on sometimes if why AI does it something? Because I know we talk about hallucination can happen or data pollution can happen. So are there kind of guardrails that you kind of have in your mind where when you're prompting AI and setting this up on the backside that you're very much aware of giving it the best case to succeed?
I think the easiest way to use AI right now, this is the absolute easiest way. Write me an email, write me a script, write me a blog post, write me a phone script, write me an apology letter. Anything that you can think of, AI can help you write it. This is not rocket science. Hopefully by now, most of us are using this technology. You can use ChatGPT, you can use, Grammarly, you can use Jasper.ai. There's so many tools. Dove has Ira, the interactive writing assistant. There's a lot of technology that you can use to go and write your copy. But what's amazing about this is that you're going to immediately notice how efficient it makes your life. Writing is not a simple thing. I remember when I used to craft emails and I would go through iterations after iterations after iterations to make sure that my copy was good, to make sure the grammar was good, the tone was right, to make sure that my exclamation point was not misinterpreted. And AI solves that problem on a massive level. Now, I will say that AI adds a little extra flair sometimes. It uses some language that I think
skyrocketing.
It's skyrocketing, unlocking, boosting. It's a lot of that hyperbolic language. So you have to train it through tone and through basically certain prompt engineering, which is basically saying sound 100% human, right, sound colloquial, sound conversational. You have to tell it to do that. Otherwise, it's not going to really know what to do. But you'll notice that using AI to help you write, it transforms your world completely because it has access to all of the information ever to exist on the internet.
And the AI writing is not going to forget. Whereas if you load our brain with something and you've learned something, as human beings, we forget things sometimes. Yeah. Whereas AI, I would imagine once it's taught correct, does not forget.
Yeah, right. And it's going to continue to save your profile. Like in ChatGPT, there's something called memories, where every time you ask it a question, it's going to store a memory. And by the way, if you want to remove these, you can. But these memories are basically, it's learning about you. It's going to learn that you're a vegetarian or that you have a German Shepherd or that you live in Los Angeles. It's going to learn those things. And then based on the information it learns about you, it's going to respond to that. So, with Ira, for example, we built our profile engine, which asks you a specific set of questions so that it can learn about you, your profession, your goals, your target audience, what are their objections, so that you can ultimately convert them into clients. That's a very sales-focused thing. It's not for everyone. But the idea here, though, is that AI is so helpful and it's so efficient in your life that using it for copywriting as a phase one thing I think it's a must-do thing. When we get into those 2 and 3 things, which is, decision making and then interactivity, that's where it starts to get really interesting. And that's where you're starting to take a little bit of risks.
Well, with SIA that we have for Dove, right? The Sales Interactive Assistant. When you were building that, did you kind of see it in your mind in terms of, wow, there's a prospect that just got a video. Below that video, there is this interactive AI engine that can not only provide information in a very motivational, forward-pushing kind of way, but can also help that actually sales individual in that moment hopefully close the deal. Did you kind of envision it like that?
The most honest story that I can tell you about this is that I remember a couple of years ago when the AI revolution was taking off. And I started to realize that generative AI was going to transform the way that content was created. And it directly affects video because right now you can go to Synthesia, you can go to 11 Labs, and you can replicate your face, you can replicate your voice, and you can create a generated AI avatar of yourself. And a lot of people are starting to do that right now. Like if you want to have a faceless YouTube channel because you just don't want to show up on camera, but you still want to have a representation of your face or someone else, you can absolutely do that right now. And when I started to realize that, I was like, wow, as a CEO of a video sales company, I realized this is really frightening because what if we get to a point where people don't need to record videos anymore and all that they need to do is just tell AI to go generate a video of a spokesperson that they design, that they designate, or even themselves, or some combination. And it was a really fearful moment for me.
What brought you out of the fear, though?
Well, what I realize is that if you don't embrace AI, it's going to embrace you.
You recognized the fear, you embraced it, and then you really got to work on the technology of using AI to assist humans. Because if you think about it, what you just said, like SIA as an example, is not replacing the human salesperson, it's providing support.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one thing that in AI, as intelligent as it gets, all the advances that are going to be made in the coming years, is it supporting the human or is it replacing the human?
Yeah.
And I think for sales in particular, and business and commerce, that's a big talking point for a lot of companies and a lot of people. But like you said, you figured out a way to start implementing it in a way that made sense for the humans.
Well, okay, I think a really good way to look at this is like this. At the best companies on the planet, the most successful, most profitable, the largest companies on the planet, there is a very clear-cut hierarchy and a sort of corporate tree, right? In terms of how it works. Like the famous thing in Amazon is that one person has a finite number of people that reports to that person as it goes down the totem pole. So Jeff Bezos has less than 10 people that report to him. That's what we read, right? And what I think that's really interesting about this is that when you use AI as an interactive tool, something really special occurs, which is that you get this idea of ultimate scale without jeopardizing content, without jeopardizing quality. Because an AI assistant, if it's consumer facing, like our technology, SIA, you can go and deploy that to 1,000 prospects. And this thing can be interacting with 1,000 prospects at the same exact time. And the thing about this is that there's no compromise of quality because this thing has been so specifically trained on your business, your goals, your target audience. What does your website say? What are your FAQs? Every single aspect of your business this thing has learned. And best of all, it's totally trained as a salesperson. So it can go and convert people. So the thing that I think is most interesting to answer your question is that AI gives you scale and it gives you personalization and it gives you an increase in conversion rates. Like when we did a fun video, you versus SIA, and what was so cool was the final results. Like, do you remember the final results?
I'm going to guess that SIA got 20 bookings, and I got one booking. It was 20-1.
Oh,
right.
I don't know 20. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Because the interactive agent was able to go and respond to people so quickly. Yeah, like you have 10 agents responding to people simultaneously. That problem of human scalability doesn't exist. No. And not to mention, because it can type so quickly, 200 words per minute, it's answering so quickly and it's just giving people responses. So what does that do? I think our increase, it was a 250% increase in conversion rates.
Right.
Which was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unreal. That it's really tough to beat.
Yeah.
But you don't have to beat it. It's helping you as the salesperson.
That is the ultimate unlock. When you realize that AI is your friend and it's not something that you need to have doubts about, it's something that you can start leveraging. That's when you take fear, uncertainty, doubt, and you turn it into confidence. And specifically, you turn it into results. There's a really interesting statistic that we love to share with people. There is a 16x increase in conversion rates when there's an AI assistant on a landing page. I mean, that's exactly the technology that we're building right now. Why? Because any question that a person has, this AI can probably answer it. And after it answers the question, it's always going to do that one thing.
Collect the information or push the CTA. Do you want to collect someone's email? Would you like to collect their phone number? Would you like them to book a time in your calendar? What would you like that sales assistant to do? Because at the end, it has to have some kind of end goal. It can't just be an information spouter where it's just, because that's more customer service AI, which has its place. It's great. We use that. Right. But from a sales perspective, it's got to be to the point, motivational, and forward pushing.
So what we are training AI to do for sales is to be the ultimate clipboard salesperson, which is that a preliminary person at the top of the funnel that captures the information, that answers all the questions, and then it does the pass. Because at some point, I don't think AI assistants are going to close deals right now. They're not going to close 5, 6, 7-digit deals right now.
No.
It's an assistant. It's sometimes you call it a co-pilot, sometimes you call it an assistant. But having that assistance, the lift that you're going to get, I mean, expect that 10x plus lift to your conversion rate. We have an enterprise. Our biggest clients, they're in the enterprise space, Fortune 500 companies, Inc. 5000 companies. And we love those deals because they're big deals and we love to service them. We're absolutely set up for that, which is why I think we've attracted so many of them. But what's really interesting about this is that now more than ever, we're realizing how important AI-driven enrichment data is for us. And let me explain what I mean. There was an early breed of software crop that came out, which was doing, personalized email writing for prospecting. So what it would do, it would take the person's first name, last name, email, the company name, and then maybe where they went to college.
Yeah.
It would go scan their LinkedIn profile, and then it would craft an email. And it would say, hey, Rob, I noticed that you went to Framingham State.
Yep.
I noticed that you went to Framingham State. And what was your mascot?
Oh, the Ram.
The Ram?
Yeah.
So it'd say...
The Rams. Yeah.
The Rams?
Yeah.
So it would say, I noticed you went to Framingham State, and I know that the Ram is the mascot. And then it would say something like, it's so terrible how it would mention something about your mascot at your university. This is so cringy. If I were to receive this, I have no connection to any of that stuff. No. And I know that you're using some parlor tricks with AI.
It's pretty obvious.
It's pretty obvious, right? Yeah. So like phase one of these like copy, sort of sales driven, copy based technology was really embarrassing, frankly. However, what I started to realize was that if you really trained AI to enrich your data, to understand like what is your role, who is your target audience, what is your specific struggle of your ICP, your ideal client profile, and then what is it that we as a company offer that can address those things, all of a sudden now it read your press releases, it read your website, it knows what updates you have on your company. It knows specifically if you've hired someone, if you have a new initiative at the company, it knows those things. And it can say something like this. It can say, hey, Rob, I know that you work at Dub, and I know that you guys are focusing on the enterprise segment, focusing on companies that specifically want to use video for sales. Would you be interested in talking to us? Because I can show you how to get a 16x lift on a company just like yours. And here's a case study of a competitor of yours that did the same thing. Or now we're talking about your goals, your specifics. And this is all driven by data enrichment, AI, copywriting, decision-making. And then eventually, which is where we are taking it, is interactivity. So now it's not just a one-way asynchronous email. Now you're actually interacting with our AI assistant, and this thing will close you in a booked meeting, and I never have to speak to you. I want to invite people. I want to encourage people to take the jump, to take the leap with AI, and to use it to your advantage. Come on over to Dub. Live training. What are the live trainings like?
Yeah, coming into live training. I mean, AI is such a big part of what we're doing in the daily lives. And if anybody doesn't know,
daily lives.
We are in daily live training. So Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. PST, we do platform stuff, we do strategy, we do questions and answers. And that group setting is amazing because we have people out there that are finding success with AI, with these tools, and they're sharing it within the training. We have people that have questions, and once they get their questions answered and they see the studies and the use cases and the stuff we show in the training, they feel more comfortable with it. And they understand the use case. I think that's the biggest part of it. So if you're curious about AI and how it can be used in sales and really boost your growth, come into our live trainings. They're amazing.
Dub.com/T. That's the URL that you want to check out. And if you want to grab a free trial to Dub, come on over. Dub.com. Grab a free trial. It takes 30 seconds and there's no credit card required. We've got AI writing tools, an interactive sales assistant to go and help you actually interact with your clients, to get more bookings, to get more sales, and all sorts of other technology to help you record videos, to make more connections, to get more conversations going, and ultimately to get more clients. Thanks for watching this video, and subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment below on the next video that you would like for us to make. See you at the next one.
See you guys.